Philly, stand up. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22 Sunday night. Stop that Chiefs three-peat. The dynasty is no more, at least not this year. The Eagles defense got after Patrick Mahomes, sacking him 6 times. They forced 3 turnovers. Jalen Hurts named Super Bowl MVP, throwing for 221 yards, rushing for another 72, and tacking on 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
God is good. He's greater than all the highs and the lows. And I think, personally myself, I've just been able to use every experience and learn from it. The good, the bad, all of it, using it as fuel to pursue my own greatness. And I think I couldn't do any of these things without the guys around me. We had a special group this year. We were able to learn from the past and get some nice new pieces and get over that hump.
All right, Gabe. The Rebels took down the Empire, at least for this year. No Death Star on notice, at least for right now. What was your kind of your big takeaways from Super Bowl LIX, aka 59?
Well, I'll say right now, Jalen Hurts is stamped. I don't want to hear anything else. I know that we can talk about consistently what he is as a quarterback, how he throws the ball, or maybe the lack of throwing the football, especially during the regular season. There was a lot of back and forth about that this year, and A.J. Brown being unhappy, and Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts in the early season after the way last season ended, it being a problem, them not being on the same page. But one thing I will say is the guy just wins. He just wins. And now he's got a Super Bowl MVP to show for it. Now, granted, you don't get there without Saquon Barkley, that offensive line, and that roster, probably the best in football. But Jalen Hurts is stamped now, so I want to make that clear first and foremost. I think Nick Sirianni, you can group in with him. I mean, there's a lot of questions about him and the Eagles, him not being the grown up in the room, and Jalen Hurts having to be the grown up in the room for Nick Sirianni. But the guy's 54-23 now, in 4 years as a head coach with a Super Bowl. I think you go ahead and give him the stamp of approval. And then just looking at the game, and really what killed the Chiefs completely is the Eagles were able to get pressure at every turn, and they did it with a 4-man rush. I didn't quite expect it. They have been, since Nick Sirianni has been in town, a team that does well at getting after the passer. Good sack rate, good sack percentage.
Sure.
But this year it wasn't quite like that. They didn't have the strongest edges in the world. The Bryce Huff, shout out to my former teammate at the University of Memphis, the Bryce Huff signing didn't quite work out. He was hurt, but he also didn't have a very good year. But you have Josh Sweat showing up last night. You have Milton Williams getting 2 sacks last night. They got pressure with a 4-man rush on Patrick Mahomes and got him on the ground before he could create out of the pocket. And when you do that, and you keep the Chiefs behind the chains, don't let them do too much of that scramble drill with Patrick Mahomes on 3rd down, you limit what they can do in general offensively.
Yeah.
And until the Chiefs opened it up and just started throwing it on every down by the end of the game, there was just nothing there for them.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. I think the biggest thing we thought coming into this game was, what would that Eagles pass rush look like? And what was crazy to me was you mentioned, they only rushed 4 men, but they also never blitzed. I think that it kind of gets lost in the shuffle there a little bit. Didn't blitz the whole game. The front four is massive. They pressured Patrick Mahomes on like 38% of his dropbacks. And you could tell really from that first 2 couple of drives, that he had happy feet in a way that I don't think any of us really expected Patrick Mahomes to have happy feet. And so they did a great job with their pass rush, not only in getting pressure on Mahomes, but also containing him, because I think we've seen him a lot of times do the, pull the rabbit out of the hat, and you flush him out of the pocket, he's on the run, and he makes some kind of miraculous pass to Xavier Worthy or Travis Kelce or whoever. And so I think I know the MVP goes to Jalen Hurts in this game, and he played great. But I got to give it to that defense, because you force a pick six, you get a second turnover in that second quarter, and then you come and you force a third turnover in the second half. I just think they got up on the Chiefs early, and they never let the Chiefs get back into the game. And as a Falcons fan, they got up 24-0, and I tweeted this. I was like, as a Falcons fan, no lead is safe, right?
Everyone had that same thought across their mind.
I'm watching the game.
That same conversation.
I'm watching the game straight face because I'm like, I've seen this before. I'm not gonna get excited. There's too much time left. We were talking about Patrick Mahomes here, but I think the Eagles did not allow the Chiefs to be, or Patrick Mahomes to be, Patrick Mahomesian. And I think that was a huge takeaway for this one. Also, I thought we came into this one, at least I did, saying if the Eagles can run the football, they're going to have, the Chiefs are going to have the Eagles can run the football, the Chiefs are going to have a really hard time. And the Chiefs actually really shut down the Saquon Barkley rushing attack of this game. Only had 57 yards in the game. They fed it to him 25 times. They were going to force the issue with Saquon Barkley, and that never quite happened. But to your point, Jalen Hurts, they said, we're going to shut down Saquon Barkley and make Jalen Hurts beat us. And that's exactly kind of what Jalen Hurts did in this one. I saw this picture this morning. Y'all can go ahead and bring this up before I came into work. And when you talk about aura, this is what aura looks like. Gabe, it's the picture of Jalen Hurts post-game, getting ready for the post-game interview, and just mobbed by the media. He's got the spotlight on him, and he just looks as cool as he ever does. And I just thought it was an excellent kind of picture of what this game looked like for him. The Chiefs and Spagnuolo said, we're going to shut down Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts said, okay, bet.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. 11 carries for 72 yards and that touchdown. It was unbelievable to see him and, how poised he was the entire game. He did throw the pick, that pick relatively early in the game, but he responded very well. And he has been, he's a guy who definitely commands a locker room and commands an offense. And that's one thing I've always respected about him, going back to his days at Alabama. He was a guy that I think was doubted a lot heading into the league, heading into the National Football League. I certainly was one of those guys. Like, if I look back at my old podcast clips talking about Jalen Hurts, I had some doubts that he'd ever be in this position, starting and having an opportunity to win ball games for the Eagles. But I mean, he has proven everybody wrong along the way, and he's definitely got some aura. I don't know if you saw his NFC Championship outfit too.
Yeah.
That one was. I mean, it was the pleated khaki suit with he had the
little
black turtleneck
on,
underneath, and he had I don't even know what those hats are called.
Beret? He had a beret on?
Yeah, sort of a beret style, Michael Jordan mid 1990s hat going on. I mean, he's got some aura. I'll give Jalen Hurts that.
Yeah, for sure. Gotta agree with that one. Certainly puts a bit of an in, at least for right now, on the Patrick Mahomes is going to be the greatest quarterback we've ever seen debate. I actually kind of want to get your take on that. Do you think we can put that to bed for a while, or where do you land on it? Because when I look at this conversation, everybody's saying, "Oh, well, Tom Brady's the best ever forever. We can put this to bed." And I'm like, well, Patrick Mahomes is 3-2 in Super Bowls. Tom Brady was 3-2 through his first 5. Now, what I will say is Tom Brady never got blown out in any Super Bowl that we saw him in. And with this particular performance, the last 2 times that Patrick Mahomes has lost Super Bowls, he's gotten the wedgie, right? Got his pants pulled up over his head, and he looks really bad. So what's your take on that GOAT conversation?
He's lost by a combined 40 points in his 2 Super Bowl losses, which is it's just kind of insane when you think about it. Up until this particular matchup, he had only lost to Brady. So, like, my overwhelming take was like, it just feels like this Chiefs team under Patrick Mahomes doesn't fail. And through Tom Brady's career, we obviously was so long and drawn out, quite frankly, that we got to see some failure along the way. Yeah. I mean, we see some failure now from Patrick Mahomes. In 2 Super Bowls, he's lost to Joe Burrow. He adds the loss to Jalen Hurts for doing the quarterback conversation, and that's one of the very few quarterbacks in the league that's been able to do that to him in the playoffs. He only has 4 playoff losses, after all, and 2 of those are to Tom Brady. So I think there's a couple of reasons I think we should just press a little bit of pause I don't know how long Travis Kelce's going to be here, so this sort of fits in. But Tom Brady himself actually accounts for half of Patrick Mahomes' playoff losses. So I think that does mean a little bit of something. Like the head-to-head between those two guys, like we can't ignore that.
Especially as Tom Brady's on the way out, right?
Yeah, we value head-to-head so, so much in all sports. So I think even when we're talking legacy, I think maybe head-to-head should matter to a certain extent here. Now, also, I think what was so unbelievable about Tom Brady is at age 40, you could argue he's the best quarterback in the league. The LeBron James effect, the longevity effect, being able to stay healthy into that age. I think that if Patrick Mahomes is able to recreate that, win a couple more Super Bowls and do that type of thing, sure. I think Patrick Mahomes is right there. But the longevity for Brady is something that I don't think now that he's been away from the game for a couple of years, I don't think we respect it enough, to already put Patrick Mahomes directly in the GOAT conversation. Let's let him play the rest of his career, see how he holds up. I mean, he's got however many years on that 10-year contract he signed not too long ago. Let's see how he holds up, through the long haul. And then we'll start, bridging that gap, comparing him back and forth with Tom Brady and how he was at that age.
Yeah, certainly. I think as a society, we maybe try to put the crown on Patrick a little too early. Granted, he has been fantastic and unbeatable for the most part. What I thought was kind of funny about this was you mentioned that Tom Brady has beaten Patrick Mahomes twice in the playoffs. He was there for the Super Bowl. He was there for the AFC Championship game, right? And then at the same time, he's calling the Super Bowl that Patrick Mahomes gets whooped in, right? So I saw a funny tweet. It was like, devil magic looks real until real devil magic shows up. It looks like Tom Brady might have the real devil magic on Patrick Mahomes, at least for right now. I mean, he's going to be calling games for a long time. So we'll see what happens with that. But let's shift gears real quick.
I hate to cut you off, Avery.
Go ahead.
What do you think about Tom Brady, the broadcaster? Seriously, I want honest opinions. We got through a whole season, and I think he got better each game.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I don't know. We were in the Super Bowl, and he didn't know how to get to break, and I was a little taken aback. By how it felt like he wasn't quite prepared for the Super Bowl. But hey, it is what it is.
I think that in the same vein of Patrick Mahomes, crowning him a little too early, I think Tom Brady's got some growing pains, right? And the thing about it is that Fox has hitched their wagon to the Tom Brady train, and they're gonna ride it until society decides that the train has fallen off the tracks. And I think he's coming along. Is he great right now? I wouldn't say he's great right now. I still think Greg Olsen is probably the best on that Fox crew by a pretty good margin. But hey, man, Tom Brady, he wasn't great out the gate when he was with the Patriots way back when. So we'll give him a little time, and I'm sure we'll see him in very much Super Bowl form here soon. A very cool local part of this Super Bowl win, though, is the Memphis Tigers that were in it. 3 former Tigers were part of the Philadelphia Eagles, running back Kenneth Gainwell, defensive end Bryce Huff, and kicker Jake Elliott. Elliott, in particular, with a phenomenal game, 4 for 4 in field goals, 4 for 4 in extra points. Now the all-time leader in field goals made without a miss in Super Bowl history, and tied for the most field goals made in the Super Bowl with Kansas City's Harrison Butker, a record 9 for 9. Congrats to all those Tigers. For those of you guys who don't know, Gabe Kuhn is a former Memphis Tiger himself, played on the offensive line. And from what I understand, Gabe, we talked about this before the show, you've got a little fun fact for us with Jake Elliott.
Yeah, it's my freshman year roommate. How about that? Jake Elliott, freshman year roommate.
Very cool.
I was in there with it was the long snapper, Jake, me, and then my buddy who was a tackle, all in the same exact class. Class of 2013, stand up at the University of Memphis. Most winning, if I'm not mistaken. I guess if you started in 2014 after your redshirted, this is definitely the truth. But most winning 4-year class in the history of University of Memphis football. But shout out Jake, freshman year roommate. I love him and his wife Annie and his son.
Just how cool is that to see guys that you know, Jake, you had the real personal relationship with, but even being an alum of the University of Memphis and seeing guys on that stage winning the game's highest award, highest trophy.
I don't know, man. It's awesome. Jake is such an interesting case too, because I don't know. He's such a good guy, no question. But it's just like all these good things just come to him. He's a hard worker. He deserves all of it. Don't get it twisted. But it's wild. Like he gets drafted in the 5th round by the Bengals, and he got cut his rookie year. Eagles pick him up. He wins a Super Bowl his rookie year. And then as the everything keeps spinning, he has a couple of different coaches. He gets a big contract. Here comes Sirianni. They lose the Super Bowl. He wins another Super Bowl. He's 2 Super Bowls into this thing. Like I after his rookie year, I sort of got used to him just being in this spot and being beloved in Philadelphia. And nothing surprises me with him at this point. You have those buddies that are just destined for greatness. Mm-hmm. Those people that you just look at and you're like, that person is going to do well in life. That person always has good things come to them. That's Jake. I have resigned myself to the fact that Jake is always going to be doing things like this, and he was always going to do great things.
Very cool. Yeah, I think I saw a stat that makes that after last night, the Memphis Tigers are like 4th most in points scored in the Super Bowl between Jake Elliott and then Stephen Gostkowski, of course, who kicked a long time for the New England Patriots and all those Super Bowls. It's got to be a pretty cool feeling to see them. Memphis Tigers, stand up, man. I mean,
where do we find all these kickers, by the way? What happened? And then Riley Patterson was kicking around the league for a while. Like, where all these people? Where do these guys come from?
We got to get on and talk to Ryan Sumfield. Ask him where he's finding all these diamonds in the rough, man. Or how the Tigers do it.